Give me a second. All right, so let me post this as well. No, I can post here. All right. So first thing is let's talk about the secret session and what's going on with the video. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a little cheat on what's happening right now. So let's look at the NVIDIA markets, and we still see NVIDIA climbing, right? Now, I kind of want to go back because this is the 27th. That's January. So let's go to, I'm going to go to 1 day.
You got to check the chart.
Sorry. Thank you. You guys got to keep me on my toes, man. All right. So let me reshare. And this is what I want you guys to be able to do. This is what I want you guys to be able to do. I want you guys to be able to translate price action. And you will learn it in the secrets in the one-on-ones. Like I said, I want you to learn as much as you can about the course material, but when you're ready, and I'm going to make sure you're ready. I'm not just going to let you come into the one-on-ones and we start this. We're going to the first 1 or 2 sessions is I'm going to go over and make sure you understand the course material. We're going to go over it. I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to review. I'm going to go through all of that on the first and second session. Answer your questions about the course material. Once I know you have the course material or the basics kind of with an understanding, then we'll start getting into teaching you the 10-2. And a part of the 10-2 is learning price action translation. So what did I tell you guys yesterday when we looked at the price action? We saw the markets going up. Let me see if I can go back. We're going to go back to today's the 19th. I think we were right here. Yeah, the 18th. So right here on the 18th is where we were. If you guys remember, this thing kind of spiked right here. When we came in, there was a huge spike right here. And what did I say was going to happen? I said the markets are going to fall back down and it's going to consolidate. And you tell me that's not consolidation. They're waiting for what's going to happen with NVIDIA. And what did I also say was going to happen? They're going to let it spike down. Just let it play out. Because here's where it starts. Like I said, I'm going to give you a little bit more information that's inside the secret session. But I don't mind giving a couple of pieces away. Number one, the actual trading event is not till Friday morning because the announcement is going to be after hours. And we all know how that works. If you have done other secret sessions with me, you know that we wait for the after hour announcement and then we trade it the following morning. Right. So we do know that the major announcement that we're looking for is coming out Friday, well, Thursday evening after market, and we'll be able to trade it or watch the markets react Friday morning. But if you notice that this is not complete consolidation, we see the market still moving. Why is the markets moving? Why is it fluctuating as much? Now, I want to get the range. Let's make sure that it's really moving. And the way that you know is you can look at the range. So let's go back to that spike that we had. We're not going to worry about that big spike back on the 18th. We're going to take it right here from yesterday, right? Because this was the opening. We don't want to use that because that's fake. So we kind of come here and we settle right here. We see the range. This is sitting at 140. All right. We know somebody yesterday said that the peak of NVIDIA is somewhere around 150. I confirmed that yesterday. It was around 151. So don't worry. We're not looking to find the highest high. But where's the range? It's sitting here at about 140. And then down here, I would even say right here is probably where it really is, about 139. But even if you wanted to use this low spike, right? Because you can add in this current price action. So I don't even mind using this current down spike, which is around 138. So your range is about 138 to about 141, and that's pretty decent for an individual, stock that's not really doing anything major. I would even consider that to be a little bit of consolidation, right? You're still within that small $3 range, right? So what we're looking is some major move. We want to see it spike 5 points. We want to see it drop 5 points, which is it's not really doing. It's kind of staying in this range. Um, so it's waiting. It's waiting for something to happen. But let me explain exactly why the market spiked here, why the market spiked here, why the market fell here. And I'm going to show it to you right now. You're going to learn this in the secret session. But NVIDIA divested from several corporations. And I feel bad for those corporations, because here's the point of this, guys. And this kind of goes into something that we've already talked about, even in the challenge. We don't follow other people. We don't go by what everybody else is expecting. And even right now with the tariffs, which we're going to get into that when we do the economic event. The economic event is heavily being influenced by the tariffs, and not the real tariffs, the expectation of future tariffs. We don't do that. So right now, NVIDIA is going through the same thing, because people are just following what NVIDIA is doing. NVIDIA divested. Ooh, we should divest. And then what did NVIDIA replace in their portfolio? Oh, we should buy that too. And because of what they bought and because of what they sold and their reallocation, people now assume that NVIDIA's portfolio is more valuable, and now they're buying up NVIDIA. They're divesting from those companies as well. They're reinvesting in the new companies that NVIDIA bought into. Does this make sense?
Yes.
People are always looking for the get rich quick. I don't know what I'm doing. NVIDIA bought and sold, so I'm just going to buy and sell what they did. And that is the reason why NVIDIA is a little bit more active than a normal corporation would be when a major event is coming. And the way that I explain it in the secret session is it's priming the markets. Because when I show you what I'm going to show you in the secret session, I'm guaranteeing the markets are going to go up. But it's a beautiful thing when the markets are already primed to go up because of the portfolio reallocation. The reinvestment is priming the markets where people are already interested in NVIDIA. People are already buying NVIDIA well before the event. That's a good thing. It's priming that rally and that surge. All right, I'm not going to go into this. You guys can look this up yourself to find out what they divested in. I'm gonna break all that down in the secret session. Now, I mentioned the secret session several times, so let me go ahead and break that down very quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Welcome back, Eric. So let's break down the secret session. I do this probably once a month. I try to do this at least once a month, where I can help you guys make money. Right? So you can go to I have it in the I have it posted in the YouTube chat room. You guys right here can do the same thing, cheetahInvestors.com/live trading class. And what this is going to allow you to do is, this is basically the new doorway page where you can get all the courses. You can get the masterclass sign up. And if you go down to the bottom, you have the Millionaire Secret Session. Click on the Millionaire Secret Session, and you can book this evening's secret session. And it's a $1 million opportunity. Now, people might ask, Aaron, I don't have $1 million. So why do you call it a millionaire secret session? Why do you call it a $1 million trade? Because the markets are going to give millions. The markets are going to rise in the market that I'm telling you to. And when that market rises up, it's creating millions of dollars. That's the reason why I call it $1 million trade. We're not talking about a couple of thousand. We're not talking about a couple of 100,000. When the markets move in the trades that I'm going to give you, millions of dollars are being generated. And I want you to get as much of that $1 million as you can, even if it's a couple of thousand. If you've ever wondered, Aaron, you're lying to everybody. It's not $1 million trade. Yes, it is. You just don't have the money to invest to be able to get those millions. Hopefully in the future, you might be able to. All right. But the reason why this session is so valuable is because I have a 90% track record. I've been doing this for over a year, and every single prediction I give comes true. But the point of it is I want you to be able to do the same thing. That's the whole point of this event. You can watch what I do, and you can learn how to do it yourself. We do not worry about speculation. We don't care about price. We don't care about sentiment. We don't care about signals, noise. We care about the value. Is there value being added to the markets? And that's why it's called value investing. That is what Warren Buffett does. We're going to follow his pattern and do value investing to make sure that what we're trading is legitimate. I have built-in strategies that's going to give you protection, power, precision, and proficiency. You're going to learn that. And then I'm also going to show you multi-positions so that you make money on different time frames in different markets and different assets. I call it the House of Profits. You're being invited to the House of Profits that will show you a secret door that is guaranteed for you to make a portion of the profits. Jim Rogers, billionaire investor, says, I just wait until money lying in the corner and all I do is go pick it up. All right. You have to get inside the house before you can find that corner. And this secret session is going to let you look inside the House of Profits, peeking through the window of opportunity to see that future outcome. And if you follow the instruction and advice that I give you in the session and just be patient, like Jim Rogers is advising you, wait until the right time and you can walk through the secret door and pick up the money in the corner. Every single day that you wait, you're losing money because I also talk about early entry. And that's the reason why we showed you the price action, because we're getting in on early entry. We're going to watch that market settle in early entry over the next 48 hours. And you need time to prepare. You need time to have everything in place, because even though Jim Rogers is saying wait and be patient, that doesn't mean you're not doing anything while you're waiting. You got to prepare for the trade. And the longer that you wait, the less time you have to prepare. So get into this as soon as possible. Get into that early entry. Early entry is the safest place to trade. I'm not going to go into my predictions. These are all the predictions that I've given over the last 2 years. You can come to this page and look over them, but I promise you, I have a 90% track record. If you don't believe me, you can come into the student room, come into the WhatsApp community. You can go into the chat on YouTube, and I can guarantee you everybody will let you know that that I really do have a 90% accuracy. My newest predictions, I made this prediction last year that every single one of the Magnificent Seven is going to rise above 3 trillion. And if you guys follow what I do and come into these secret sessions, you're going to get an opportunity to profit from those Mag Sevens as they rise into the $3 trillion area. And when I started this, there was only two. When I started this, there was only Microsoft and Apple. And I was telling you about NVIDIA before it even came into the Mag 7. I was giving you predictions on NVIDIA before it even came into the Mag 7. I told you, look at this one. I gave you this prediction that new companies would come into the Mag 7. And what happened with Broadcom? Broadcom came into the $1 trillion December of last year. All of my predictions are 90%, guys. I predict about an AI war that's going to drive the markets. Right? So if you want to be involved in this, what I have is I have 5 events, 5 major events over the next 3 months, guaranteed to happen. to let you know what NVIDIA is going to do. And I know as soon as I say NVIDIA, and I know my students in the Zoom are not worried about that. They know better at this point. But when I used to do this on TikTok, everybody's running to the markets. He told us NVIDIA, and that's what they're programmed to do. They're not waiting to hear what the details are. They can't articulate why they're going to trade. I told them NVIDIA, and they're running to the NVIDIA markets. And most likely they got in too early, or they're getting in too late, or they don't know what traps the institutions are putting in place. I'm going to walk you through it step by step where you don't have to worry about any of that. So 5 events over the next 3 months that's going to continue to drive NVIDIA markets up. And you want to know what those events are so you can time your entry and exits properly. All right. You're going to invest $100 to make thousands. All right. Go over this event and you'll see the benefit. Let's go over the secrets real quick, and then we'll get back into the curriculum. So I call it a secret session. Here's why. You get the secret to know how the institutions will manipulate and attack your trade. The secret to know how to trade multiple time frames simultaneously, maximizing your profits. The secret to know how to trade multiple markets without having to use high-risk tactics like shorting or leverage. The secret to only trade low-risk markets, protect your money at all times. The secret to know your entry and exits to control your trade at all times. The secret to guarantee your trades at all times. No hoping, no wishing, no guessing. And the secret to know when to get in and get out. That's called proficiency. Right? So if you guys want to be a part of this, it's a $100 investment, double your money back. I am guaranteeing the markets are going to do what I say. And if it doesn't, I'll give you $200 back. That's how much I'm confident that what I'm telling you is going to happen. So get in as you can, guys. We got the main event here that you can book today at 8 p.m. We have the 8 p.m. event today, but if you cannot make today's, go down to the very bottom, and we have the rest of the events for the rest of the week. When you sign up for the event, you get to come in twice. The reason why I say that is I'm going to do this event again. I don't know if I'm going to do it next week, because next week we got another NVIDIA event. But like I said, we got 5 total. So I think it might be better if I wait to do it again when we get to the 3rd event. And when I do it a second time, whether it's next week or next month, you'll be able to come back in for free. You can always come in twice. All right, that's the benefit as well. So at least get in the first time where you might be able to make some money this week. You'll be able to prepare for next week, and then as well as the other events coming for the next 3 months. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. If you have any questions on the secret session, hit me up. But hopefully I see you this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now let's talk about let's go in and talk about the economic event, and then we'll do the secret. Then we'll do the challenge. So I'm going to give you this is actually what I wanted to say, and I wish there was a way I can mute YouTube, but I'm going to give it away. I'm going to give the secret away. I think it's only Eric anyway, and Eric is a regular. So let me give you guys another secret that I have mentioned before. This is usually a secret that I do not give away. It's a little cheat, but I'm going to give everybody the cheat, even though you may not be in the Zoom. And this is an example of what you get in the Zoom with the real student classroom. You're going to learn a lot more secrets. So every once in a while, when you are trading the economic events, which is the foundation of what we learn, right? Inside the course material, that is the foundation. We learn the different economic events. So let me give you a hack, a nice little secret on how you can make money and you can kind of guarantee what those economic events are going to do. It doesn't happen every time. It doesn't happen in every situation. But when it does, you should be able to pick it out and see it. So check this out, guys. Yesterday, we had the Home Builder Confidence Index. Does everybody see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so here we are, a day later. That event has already taken place. So today at 8:30, in about 20 minutes, we have the housing starts and the building permits. That's in the same kind of sector, right? So you can look at a previous economic event in the same week, and now you know what's going to happen, because whatever happened with that home builder index is going to happen with the housing starts and the building permits. So you should still be analyzing it to make sure that the information is correct, the analysis is correct, but you can use the home builder confidence index to confirm. And you might have gotten it wrong. Either way, I still want you to look up the actual data. You should not just be, oh, I'll just wait for the confidence index and I'll just know. No, 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 no. Circle of competence, know your trade, guarantee your trade. So you should already look up the information so you have the data in your head. And then now let me give you the reason why. So when that home builder confidence index did come out and you went and looked up the articles on why it did what it did, you can now add that to the analysis you've already done, and now you can adjust. But the takeaway is it's a cheat, because you can look at a previous, and you should be doing this, a week in advance. The very first thing when I go over that week schedule, I'm looking for economic events that are identical, that are in the same kind of sector. So I already knew coming into this week that I'm not going to trade the home builder confidence index. I'm going to let that go through. I'm going to see what the result of that is, and that's going to give me a cheat on what the housing starts and building permits are going to do. So let me show you the home builder confidence index. Hopefully you guys have already done, if anybody, is focused on the housing, you might have already done the research on this. But here's an article, and it basically says home builders just got a reality check, and it's not good news for home builders. And this lets you know what happened with the home builder index. It did not meet the expectation. There's a level of uncertainty that's going to drive home sales down. So we know where the sentiment is. We know what the metrics are. This is giving us everything that we need. Now, the reason why it's fluctuating, because it is a really good, healthy housing market. Let me go ahead and qualify that. If you did your analysis, you would have recognized that the housing market is healthy. People are buying more houses. People are using, are getting more mortgages and home loans and refis. We have a very healthy home buying market. But once this came out, we realized that now people are adjusting based on the tariffs, and the tariffs are affecting all of the raw materials, specifically the lumber that we get from Canada. We get the majority of our lumber from Canada. And now with all of those tariffs looming, it's not real. The tariffs are not in place. People are just speculating how the tariffs may affect the housing market in the future. It's not real. Change in sentiment. But the secret is that we can look, I'll even show you right here. Key details. Trump's tariffs on imported goods from Canada, China, and Mexico are increasing the cost of building materials, which is spooking home builders. It's not real. But that doesn't matter, because that is the secret of the economic events, finding the sentiment and waiting for the confidence index to come out. We now have the sentiment, guaranteeing today's economic events. I just want to show it to you, right? So I'm gonna try to do the secret session very quickly. And then hopefully I can get off before 8:30 if you guys want to simulate this or trade for real money. But to be honest with you, I'm not, I'm going to take that back because you're not going to be able to trade for money. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the markets are going to fall. We know the markets are going to go bearish. So I'm going to take that back. We're going to stay on. I'm going to take my time. There is no real way of making money here because the markets fell. It was a bad read. So the markets are not going to go up because of this. But that's the whole point. We got a chance to get a sneak peek, to get a cheat sheet on what the economic event today was going to do. All right, so let's well, first off, do we have any questions on this?
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I noticed the market was very bearish yesterday.
You got it. So and you can kind of probably expect the same thing today. All right, like I said, individual like Nvidia or Amazon or those they're going to be affected probably in the like bullish, but getting into anything dealing with tariffs or building materials is probably not going to be good. All right, so I do want to mention one more thing as a current event is before we get into the challenge. Give me a second. It came in my brain and left. Crap. Hopefully it hits me. If it doesn't hit me, I'll post it in the student room. I can't remember. I hate when this happens. I'm getting old. All right, so dang, I want to mention it before. All right, so tariffs. We're talking about tariffs. Yeah. Tesla. We're gonna hit up Tesla very, very quickly. And it's just to reaffirm the prediction that I gave on Tesla. When Elon Musk made the gesture, and that's what we're calling it, the gesture, what did I say was going to happen? I said, you're going to see every major financial institution, you're going to see governments turn their back on Tesla. And that's what's happening. There's a major decline in Tesla sales in Europe. No one is buying Teslas. There are warehouses where there was an actual market where you can buy used Teslas, right? There was this whole thing where, because let me explain, because I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, because I was very interested in buying a Tesla. So I was doing a lot of market research on buying one. And one of my clients told me that they bought one off of eBay. So Tesla has a very good resale value on their cars, and I'm going to explain why. Because a normal car, everybody knows the saying that if you buy a car, it decreases in value, 25% decrease in value the moment that you drive it off the lot. Has anybody ever heard of this?
Definitely. Yep.
Well, let me let you know something about Tesla. Tesla builds things in their car that are not unlocked. There's hardware in the Tesla vehicle, even though you don't have use of it when you buy it. But what will happen is they'll do software updates, or you will pay for a subscription, and then they'll unlock the feature. But it's already on the car. The second thing is that it's like a moving iPhone, that new updates will give new things on the car. So unlike other cars, the Tesla vehicle will increase in value with those updates. As long as you're getting those updates, the car will increase in value because there's new features that are being unlocked. So that's the difference. So because of that, the resale value on Teslas was higher than any other vehicle. So there was an entire market of people that were able to sell these used Tesla vehicles, but even that is plummeting. I told you yesterday that the Gigafactory in Mexico scrapped. The Gigafactory in Germany scrapped. There was a deal that he had with Australia scrapped. And we're talking about sales going down as much as 60%. Nobody is interested in buying Tesla vehicles. Nobody is interested in giving Tesla or Elon Musk credit lines. They're not giving him any government subsidies. He has lost the backing of governments and financial institutions, and Tesla is falling like a hot brick. I just want to show you the prediction that I gave you the moment that he did that gesture. I told you what was going to happen with Tesla, and I told you we're out of the game. We're no longer focused on, because we were heavily focused on Tesla in 2024. I told you what was going to happen. It was going to rise above 1 trillion. But the moment he did that gesture, it was off the plate. And now we see the prediction coming true. So I just wanted to mention that as the narrative increases. And believe me, it's not done, guys, because it's going to drop so much. We see what happens on social media. We see what happened with the Me Too movement. This employee's views does not reflect the company. And I promise you, they're going to start putting pressure on Elon Musk to step down. I already predicted this. And they're not going to get rid of him because of his influence and because of his understanding and knowledge about the company, but they're going to put him in a supportive role. He will no longer be the face of the company. They're going to put somebody else at the front of Tesla, and he will have to control it from the back. Either that, or they're going to, because they can't get rid of him either. If they get rid of him, then Tesla stock is going to plummet even more. So they have to put him in a supporting role as an advisor. This is what I predicted over a month ago. And we're all seeing it work itself out. But I did want to mention that as that narrative kind of comes into place. So with that said, guys, let's go ahead and get into our challenge. Do we have any questions on any of this? Let me know. All right, let me go ahead and bring up the presentation. We have arrived at day 17, and we're continuing our task from yesterday. Day 16, we introduced the concept of trading cadence, finding the rhythm of the markets and being able to sync with that rhythm. So today, we're going to requote Paul Tudor Jones, and let's find the meaning and the secret of his words, his advice that he gives. For those of you that are new to this, we are constantly quoting the billionaire traders. They already know how to do it, and they will give us the advice so that we can have the same level of success as them. And we know it's going to work because they've already proven that it works because they're billionaires. So Paul Tudor Jones tells us, when you get a range expansion, I'm going to explain what that is in the future. But when that happens, when the price action moves, strong movement in the markets, the market is sending you a very loud and clear signal that the market is getting ready to move in the direction of that expansion. The takeaway The takeaway of this quote is that the markets give very loud and clear signals. And the way that you are able to pick up on those signals is to be in tune with the frequency. And what is that frequency? The cadence, the market rhythm. And we're going to show you between yesterday and today, we're going to show you how to find that rhythm. This is imperative, guys. And notice that the billionaires are telling us that this is what they do. So let's quote Ray Dalio. He says, now we should know who Ray Dalio is. He's the best day trader to ever do it. Here's his advice. He says, we operate in harmony or in conflict with nature's laws, and all societies will succeed or fail in the degree that they operate consistently with those laws. So what are these laws? What are the laws of nature that Ray Dalio is using to have the level of success where he is the best of the best? That's what we're going to learn today. The daily assignment is to learn the 12 laws of the universe. And I know some of you are saying, oh man, I don't need to know this. Why wouldn't you want to know it when Ray Dalio is telling you that you need to know it? Do you know better than Ray Dalio? He's telling you that you need to be in harmony with nature's laws. And the more you are in tuned, knowing these laws, adopting these laws, staying consistent in how you operate with these laws will be the level of success or failure that you have. I don't know about you, but I'm going to listen to Ray Dalio. So how do we implement this? Step one, we want to memorize the 12 laws of the universe. Yesterday, I had you memorize the Fibonacci sequence numbers up to 377. Today, your homework is to memorize the 12 laws of the universe. Know the name of them and know what it means. You may not be able to do it in one day, but this is the assignment. Familiarize yourself, memorize the 12 laws of the universe. Now, at some point, I'm going to implement probably a webinar that shows you the 12 laws of the universe. I might even incorporate them into the Fibonacci secret webinar that we're going to have at the end of the month. Right? So I want you to memorize the 12 laws. Now, what I'm going to do in that presentation is I'm going to show you how the laws apply to the stock market. But for now, so you'll better understand when I present it later, memorize the 12 laws. So the universe, which we talked about yesterday, getting in sync with the universe, getting in sync with the stock market. Here's why. The universe and our connection to it follows the rules of the 12 laws of the universe. The law of attraction, which everybody has heard of, that is only one of the laws. So think about this. To accurately manifest the things that you want, we need to follow not one law of attraction, we should be following all 12 laws. Rhythm is another one of those 12 laws, which is what we've been discussing for the last 2 days. And if we follow that law of rhythm, it's going to highlight our connection using the Fibonacci sequence. Step two, we want to apply the 12 laws to our affirmations. We talked about the affirmations early on, where we kind of want to focus on what we want out of the markets, what we want out of our trading. And I did specify it should not be money. It should not be anything greedy. Pick your destination, pick your goal. What are you trying to achieve in your trading? And once again, it should not be money. It should not be anything greedy. Notice how I'm pulling from previous assignments that we've had in the 30-day challenge. So now you want to apply the 12 laws to those affirmations when you are trying to manifest, when you are setting your goals and your visions. It should be in line with not just one law of attraction, it needs to be in line with all 12 laws of the universe. So when you're using affirmations and manifesting, you need to know and follow the 12 laws. Everything you need to do to be successful in the stock market is also connected with obeying those 12 laws. How do we know? Because that's what Ray Dalio told us. That is what Ray Dalio told us. So the discussion is over. Oh, I don't need this. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to listen to Ray Dalio, the best to ever do it, before I listen to anybody else. Period. And here is the secret of the law of attraction. Forget everything that you learned in all of those books. Forget everything you learned in all of those YouTube videos. Here is the real secret of the law of attraction. The secret to the law of attraction is that there are 11 other laws that you have to follow for it to work. In our course, we teach you the 12 laws of the universe, and we show you how each one applies to the stock market and the cadence of its movement. Obey the 12 laws in your trading, and you'll see how much better you sync with the markets and how much more consistently you'll be able to trade successfully. I hope everybody is still with us. I hope you're still on pace. I hope you're still focused. Let us continue with this 30-day challenge, guys. Focus on the cadence between yesterday and today. Memorize the techniques, memorize the laws. Take the time this weekend to do that. So that way, when I introduce it later on in the curriculum and I apply it to the markets, you'll be more familiar with what I'm explaining. All right. I want to thank everybody and commend everybody for lasting this long. Let's make it to the end of this 30-day challenge. And then now we'll transition into the 90-day masterclass. I'm trying to get as many people as possible to join that masterclass. Either sign up for the subscription, or if you're already a student and you already have the course, reach out to me. We can talk about, how to get you in. And if you're a new student, we can get you signed up as well. Do we have any questions on this, guys? I've told you guys that as you become a better trader, you're going to become a better person. And this is that moment where if you're learning those 12 laws, you're adopting those 12 laws, you're implementing those 12 laws, it's not just going to make you a better trader. You're going to be able to manifest in other areas of your life because you now know the secret. Everybody else is out there pushing the law of attraction. Ask for greedy things. Ask for mansions and cars and husbands and wives. It's all false. The only way that the law of attraction is going to work is if you're using all 12, not just the law of attraction. And I can prove it to you because one of the laws is the law of rhythm, which is what we're talking about with the cadence. So memorize as that the 12 laws. And like I said, as we progress through the 90-day course and even further, I'm going to show you how to apply that when you're in the markets. And you're going to see the market is going to, your trade's going to be effortless. Absolutely effortless. If you're doing everything in line with the universe and in line with that rhythm in the markets. All right, we're going to go ahead and get off of YouTube. I want to thank everybody for showing up. We're going to come in tomorrow around 7:45. Thank you guys for being consistent. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Ashanti. Who's that third person? Oh, Sylvester. Welcome back, my friend. So like I said, guys, if you guys want to join the community, all you got to do is buy the course. If you want to join the masterclass, I can put you on a payment plan. If you're a student, and this is what I meant about what I said earlier. If you're a student, at some point, I'm going to let you join the subscription. But there are rules to joining the subscription. So like I said, all you got to do is come to me and say, hey, Aaron, I want to be a part of the masterclass. They're going to go through all the different scenarios to make it happen. I got multiple scenarios based on your individual situation. Everybody's situation is different. So I'm prepared to work with you to see if we can get you into the course where I'm going to guarantee that you're going to make money. and then get you into the master class where I'm going to take you step by step, day by day, assignment by assignment, task by task, and we're going to build your trade craft, making you a professional trader. You're going to come in this as a novice, not knowing anything. And we're going to spit you out at the other end of this. And you're going to trade 1,000 times better than 99% of the people in the markets. And that is not an exaggeration. You're going to trade 1,000% better than everyone else in the markets. How do we know? Because every single piece of advice that we give comes from a billionaire. And all you got to do is stick to the rules that the billionaires are giving us. And your success is guaranteed. All right. Do we have any final questions on this, guys? I'm willing to stay on if you guys want to discuss an event, if you guys want to discuss anything about the material we went over. I'm not rushing you guys off, but I only get off because I don't want to overstimulate you guys. But if you guys have any current events, any questions about markets, simulation, NVIDIA, whatever it is, I don't mind discussing it. And I've said this before, the real value of the room is you guys participating. Now, I'm not trying to pressure you, but I'm just letting you know in the future, if you guys are out there doing research, looking up articles, you want to kind of fine tune, you want to discuss, use each other as a soundboard, that's what this is for.
Hey, Aaron.
Go ahead.
So I was looking at something. I'm always keeping my thoughts and watching what's happening in the housing market. And I've been looking at this for like a few years now, right? So the other day I was seeing, and I hadn't thought about this, but like with all the stuff that's happening with like the Doge buyouts and stuff for employees who work in DC and everything, I'm hearing that it's like you could I think the deadline passed for accepting the buyout if you wanted it, right?
Yeah.
So then the next thing that may be coming is that they, are going to be laid off. And so I was just thinking about like, wow, how is that going to impact that, the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, real estate market with people possibly, being laid off or having to figure out new employment and all of that.
I love your causal sequence because you went all the way to the housing market. There's like so many things that's going to happen before that, but you already know unemployment means having to sell my home and relocate. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because here's what I've been looking at, right? Just kind of keeping my ear to the ground. I'm waiting for the narrative to build. It's not real right now. It's all speculation, but I'm on the same wavelength as you because this is going to affect, and that's what even people are saying, with this whole, buying people off and laying people off, it's going to affect the employment market. It has to. It's a domino effect. It's going to start affecting the employment market first. That's the first market that's going to be hit, the labor market, because there's going to be a lot more people laid off. They're not going to be in any rush because keep in mind, they got a payout. These people can go 6 months sometimes without needing to get another job. So the labor market is gonna be affected. And then like you said, we already know that they gave you a way of leaving on your own. But if they truly want to, they'll just start laying people off, which is kind of what they're doing in the FAA. They're just laying off straight people, like straight departments gone.
Wow, I didn't know that. Huh.
Oh yeah, Department of
Oh, yeah.
Education gone. So whole departments and whole set, just completely wiped away. Now here's the one thing, a secret that some of you may not know, and I don't know if Trump and Elon and Doge is sticking to this. But here is the standard, and anybody who's worked for the government, if you're a teacher, if you work for one of the alphabet company, the alphabet agencies, you know that it's very hard to get fired from the government. They will move you to another department. Somebody confirm this.
Yes, that's true. Those people stick around for years and
years, decades.
years.
They just and like I said, even if you do something wrong, they'll bury you in Siberia. They're not going to fire you, which is just crazy. They just move you around to different places. You got to do something really, really major for them to fire you. But in the government, they just move you around. Go ahead, Rodney.
Sorry. I was seeing a report and I was going to look for an article because I was interested in it where you can clearly see Virginia's governor was caught off guard with some of the questions around because obviously the majority of the employees for the government live in Virginia, and he said that there was going to be a package. Just relax for government employees that were impacted, but it sounded like, at least from the sound bites I heard, he was spitballing. But um, even to that level, where states have got to scramble, restructure, and all of that, it's a huge impact. You'll see it first in the real estate markets and all that for sure. But yeah,
It's
this
gonna
is different.
exactly. And then let's look at the rest of the economic events, right? It starts with the labor market. And once again, even before the housing, it's going to affect the consumer spending because they don't have the job to go out and buy this discretionary. They're not going to go out and buy a new house, or even their discretionary spending on going to the movies and going to the mall, going to Amazon. All of that is going to decrease. And here's the thing: it's not just the people that are literally being laid off or fired or giving an exit package. It's going to create a sentiment of people are nervous, those that still have their jobs, and not even just government jobs. Because here's the other part. Remember, we talked about the supply chain where you have the market leader and they are the supply chain for the lower industries. Well, what do you think the government is? The government is one of the highest supply chains in the nation. So if they're laying people off, that's going to affect all of the smaller corporations with their government contracts. Government contracts are getting wiped out. So it's now affecting the actual, corporations. And now they have to lay off because they don't have the contracts anymore. So, like I said, the labor market first, consumer spending next, and then obviously housing is a discretionary spending, and that's how it goes there. And then here's the other part. Inflation is up 3%. I posted that in the room yesterday. Everybody was expecting Trump to keep to his promise on day one. He's going to lower gasoline and groceries and eggs. Inflation has gone up 3%. Everything is more expensive, which now tracks back to why Powell doesn't want to bring down the interest rates. He knows what's going to happen. I'd rather stay right here. And what did I tell you? The day after Trump got in office, what did I tell you? I said Trump is going to ride everything that Biden did. Anything that's good in the government right now is coming from Biden. The same way that the last time Trump got in office, everything good came from Obama. Now Trump is going to rewrite the narrative like he created it. Do you see what I'm doing? But all he's doing is riding the success of everything that Biden put in place. So what did I tell you was going to happen? Every decision that Trump is doing is going to affect the next 4 years. And you see it. And it won't even be 4 years. It's going to affect us in these 4 years. And let me give my caveat. This is not political. We're taking what's currently happening and we're applying it to the economy and the stock market. Because I tell you, Trump could be a Democrat making the same moves, and I'm going to give the same commentary. You guys got to see it for what it is, what is currently in place, the laws and the policy, and how is that going to affect? What is the causal sequence of the economy and the stock market? And I'll give you another causal sequence. I'm monitoring it. There have been over 26 airplane crashes, commercial, private, and military. We have had over 26 airplane crashes in the last 30 days because of all of the rearranging of the FAA. There's a freeze on hiring. The FAA director quit. Basically, they got pushed out. They were investigating Trump and SpaceX, so they fired the inspector general and anybody else that was investigating and trying to
Elon.
find
Yeah.
SpaceX. Go ahead.
They were investigating Elon. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there was even like in place they were trying to do like some kind of a fine because of every single infraction there was a fine attached to it. So he went in there and basically got rid of those people because that's what he's doing. This is like a personal revenge mission. Anybody that's attacking any of his companies, he is taking care of business. And obviously his SpaceX is connected to the FAA. And because of that rearranging of that department, we have had 26 plane crashes in the last 30 days. I've been tracking it. I've been Googling it. I've been searching on AI. How many plane crashes? Every time I see a new plane crash, how many plane crashes? Because every plane crash is not on the news. There was a fighter jet that went down last week. There was a. Does anybody remember the rock star? There was a rock star that his plane went down. Motley Crue. Did anybody see this article?
I didn't
It was,
see it.
yeah, there was a private plane where I think either the lead singer or the guitar player of Motley Crue, his plane went down. Like I said, everybody is showing you the commercial airline. No, 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 no. The commercial airline is only about 6 or 7. But if you go into the military and the private planes, we're up to 26. And then there
Yeah,
was no, go ahead.
no, there was right after that plane had fell upside down in Toronto, in peril in Houston. The next day, there was a private plane that fell upside down, and no one knows. And the guy walked away unscathed, just like those guys out there in Toronto. No, naturally, it was worse, but yeah, it's very high now.
It's higher than you
So
think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know I was listening to a commentator talk about the sentiment of it. And for someone like me, I travel typically 25 to 35 weeks a year.
Ooh.
Um, I love that CRJ 900. It is a nice plane. Um, it makes you nervous.
Well, and I was actually going to even say that to you guys. Be careful traveling. I'm not getting on a plane. Some of you, it might be attached to your work, which is nerve-wracking. But I'm nervous. I'm taking trains. I'm driving. Dude,
It,
it is, it's Russian roulette.
well, I haven't dived into it because I don't have my head stuck in a hole per se, but I was just thinking, surely whatever's been unraveled in this short of time cannot be cause and effect. But I don't know.
Just
Surely,
be.
I mean, you would think that it would take longer to kick in,
Oh no,
but
this is immediate. This is immediate. And that's where it is. You literally have gotten rid of the key personnel.
there's
You know,
some assignable cause. It has to be. And I don't know if they've gotten rid of air traffic controllers. That's the
well they
rabbit
they
hole I'm
just
going to go
froze the
down. But
hiring because
yeah,
here's something that most of you probably have heard before. The most stressful job,
yeah,
literally the number one most
yeah,
stressful job is an aircraft traffic controller.
yeah.
So there's a rotation of it. People don't survive that long. So there
Right.
always need a new influx of new air traffic controllers.
Right. And if they had a bunch of those guys that were on probation that
Mm-hmm.
kept everybody from having to work 14-hour shifts,
Exactly.
but they got rid of all the probationary guys,
Yep.
and now we're working doubles.
Yep.
I don't know. That's why I was going to start looking just out of curiosity. Because I just, man, there's some assignable cause to this. I would just hate to think that we weren't smart enough to understand. I don't know. I'm
We
trying not to be
understand.
political as
I
well.
know. We understand it. We understand it. Here's the thing. We understand it, but we're not in control of it. And that's the real thing because the people in positions of where they are don't care about human lives. They care
Yeah,
about money over lives. So they can care less about the people in the planes dying.
that was my next comment. I'm like,
Yeah.
if people understand this, and you would think that they do, because we go so many years without having these kind of events pop up in these rash numbers. It's definitely statistically different.
Well, I I
It's
post
got to be evil.
yeah, I posted that in the student room yesterday that we have not had a commercial airplane crash since 2009. Think about that. We have not had a commercial plane crash. And if you guys are my age or anywhere near it, you remember the 80s. You remember the 90s. There was an airplane dropping out of the sky every week. There were planes dropping out of the sky in the 80s at least once a month worldwide because people were not putting the time and effort to making sure that everything was right. They were skimping quarters on parts, on mechanics, on everything. But
Yeah,
the FAA cracked down on it, and we have not had a problem since 2009. Let me mention one more thing, because Elon Musk, came in and says that the FAA is archaic. So we got to change some things. But how can it be archaic if we haven't had a crash in 2009? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
right. The data's in front of you.
Yeah. Now, let's bring it back to the markets, right? Causal sequence. If all of this stuff is happening, now keep in mind we were already having like a little bit of an inkling inside of the airline industry last year with all, with everything that was happening behind the scenes with the parts coming from these different companies, Boeing and all of that. So now when you come into this where more airplanes are getting crashed, that means insurance is going to go up. That means that the whole airline industry is going to start charging more because they're not going to eat what they're paying out to all these families. So now the airplane tickets are going up. I'm telling you, just go through the causal sequence of the airline industry. This is going to affect the markets.
What's even odd is you don't hear about Spirit no more, and Spirit act like they didn't even go through a bankruptcy. That's what's funny about it. And then they turned their nose up to Frontier.
Yeah, to buy
So
them. Yeah.
yeah, I can't make sense, and I'm glad you're bringing this discussion up because a lot of times I feel like I'm going down a analysis paralysis rabbit hole when I post stuff or when I'm doing my analysis,
Yeah.
because now I'm looking at the digital infrastructure, and is what I put that post up yesterday, and I'm seeing little algorithms on our social media picks up on when we start looking at things, and I started seeing a lot of these guys talk about what do they say about the hidden movement behind the the digital infrastructure.
Yeah.
So we feed off, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy, but we feed off of chaos. America
Mm-hmm.
does.
Mm-hmm.
We feed off of structural chaos, and as much as they're pushing this AI, and then they've getting more control over sovereignty wise, government wise. I wonder if they trying to put something to where that control is there, and they're going to put that in spots where these disasters are in, because I'm starting to hear something a little bit about that, but I digress. I mean, I don't want to go too far down it.
Well, I'll give you like a nice little kind of possibility of moving forward, right? So let me confirm something that you said. I completely agree, because this country it's all programming. They're programming us to be fearful. And we've seen, let me give you examples. If something happens in the economy, something happens in the stock market, they can get us to move in the direction that we want based on just fear. And another thing, if there's something that they don't want us to see, they'll deflect by showing us something. And this happens a lot. If there's a conspiracy or a something corrupt or something that's happening, they will immediately bring in something from the world news. Now, that thing that they're bringing in happens every day around the world, but we don't know that. So they'll go out and get a news article, and we believe that this is major, that this is something, an outlier, something major happened in Africa or South America, when it happens every single day. But because we don't get a chance to look at the news every single day, we think that this, oh my goodness, I can't believe this one thing happened. No, my friend, that happened yesterday and the day before and the day before. So they'll use that as a distraction as well. If something major is happening that they don't want us to, and sure enough, after we take our attention away to something globally, we now come back to local news, and we forget what we were looking at. We forget what we were outraged about. So I'm agreeing with you. That is exactly the programming and the system that's set up. So here's the other thing. They got to know our sentiment in order for them to gauge what amount of fear, because if they inject too much fear, you'll get a run on the bank. People will run to Walmart and clear off the shelves. So there's a happy balance and medium on how much fear they can inject. And that is where the data comes in. That's why everybody wants to control the data. That's why they want to, look at your phone, look at your emails, look at your social media posts. What are you watching? I've even brought in the Ring doorbells, the Siri, the home tech. They're listening to you. They're hearing your conversations. They want to know how much fear is in the system. And I'm gonna move forward 3 years from now, when we have all of those robots in our house, in our homes. Those robots are going to be listening to you. You're going to have to go in. You're going to have to jailbreak it and turn those off. And they may have a backup that's going to continue to listen to you.
Yeah. This has been in many sci-fi shows as far as pulling in the algorithm, analyzing in real time people's changing emotional content to what the move of the world goes to, so they can adjust
Yep.
in real time. But yeah,
Big Brother is not dead. It just got smarter. And I use this. If anybody remembers the quote from Unusual Suspects, what is the greatest thing that Satan did? He convinced everybody he doesn't exist.
yeah.
So that's the other thing, is that they want you to believe that it doesn't exist, but it's hidden so deep and it's everywhere, so you don't see it anymore. But Big Brother is in every single thing that we do. They're monitoring everything that we do, and every new technology. That is the first thing that they're going to implement. How do we take this new technology before we let it go to the market? How can we embed Big Brother so we can get more data, so we can know the sentiment of the economy, and we know exactly how much fear to inject?
Yeah, and one of the biggest keys with TikTok is it was not a direct feed into their algorithm the way they wanted it to do. That's why a lot of news and stories got more traction on TikTok than it did
You
other
got
social
it.
media. So yeah.
And they couldn't control the amount of fear. They didn't know what the fear was. And here's the thing, because more information lowers the fear. And that's what TikTok was doing. While they're trying to make us fearful, well, no, I just saw an article here. I just saw a video here. I just saw somebody from a university explain it like this. So we weren't being susceptible to the fear that they were injecting, because we were getting information from around the world. So they snatched that away from us, and now we're back into their system. And everybody notices the algorithm is not the same. We're not getting Palestine videos anymore. Well, not the same amount. There's a major thing that people did not realize, that we weren't getting. Did you guys know that after Trump got voted in, there were protests around the world? They were protesting for U.S. Do you guys remember that video you guys saw of was it Germany or France had this parade with the Statue of Liberty was a black woman?
Yep.
Because a lot of people don't know that the original Statue of Liberty was a black woman. But and it was a bronze statue, all of that. So that's what that parade was. So we saw the image of the parade, but we didn't know what the parade was about. They were protesting what was happening in our country. All of our rights are being affected. The immigration. All of this stuff. Every single country around the world. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people in the streets protesting the U.S. And we never saw any of that in our social media feed, even on TikTok. Because the original TikTok, we would have saw it. And they were amazed. Like, how do you guys not know that we have been advocating for you? Nobody knew.
And that's the thing. The young people are looking at social media, but MSNBC been posting it all couple for a couple weeks.
Let me give
No,
you this story. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I won't say the opposite. I have a 23-year-old, and she for months and months and months absolutely passionate about the whole situation in Gaza and Palestine, and she's very politically active to a point where, you know, I feel like I have to talk her down of the clip. But she watches a different news than I watch. And when you say something like that, it's like, okay, she's getting to see a total different imagery than I get, because I'm traveling and I'm at a site, and it's dad this, dad that, dad. I'm like, oh jeez.
But
But they're getting a
this is
different feed.
yeah. But like I said, that is the system that's in place. And that's the kind of like I said, I always bring it back to the stock market. The point of it is that it also shows you the contrast of the 99% of traders and us, because we're actively trying to unplug. We don't want to be with the herd. We want to be with the hunt. So we can sit back and watch all the stuff that they're doing, and they're being run off a cliff. They'll go to the grocery store and clear off the shelves, and we're good. We're not, everybody remember the pandemic? Everybody going and buying toilet paper. Why are you buying toilet paper? Because everyone else is?
I
That's
wonder why
lunacy.
they constantly have egg scares. That's definitely a CIA tactic just to gauge everything.
Oh yeah,
That
man.
CIA, that egg scare is like, where are they getting this from? But I'm glad
No.
the rest of the team brought that up, because I saw something where some guys, in America, some Americans are trying to, like you said, Coach, unplug and build their own, what they call it, uh, it was a town
Perspective.
square, town square,
Yeah.
your own town square data center where you can have your own, where everybody can take their social media and just talk without any handicaps. And so a lot of that AI, well, a lot of that data center starting to trickle down, because now with the introduction of AI, they're going to need these gigawatts and huge energy factories for them. And then they're, instead of having them like out in the some type of big data center somewhere out in the boonies, they're going to start having them more like communal, if you will, metropolitan and such. Also to take advantage of all the robots that's going to be coming out, be rolled out. They're going to need that as well. So some engineers, some um, your nerd types are building out those systems. Yeah, please tell me.
Well, let me update you guys on this. This is something that I predicted last month, because we were talking about the AI, and I kind of brought in, because we were talking about and once again, I don't want to get racial, none of that, but I do want to kind of update you, because there's something currently happening that you guys will learn about in the secret session. Because I mentioned that AI is the great equalizer. Because if with DeepSeek, and we have this open source where everybody can build their own version of AI, that means that and I don't want to call them minorities, because there's only one minority on this planet. Let's get that straight. So the global majority will be able to take the AI and build their own in their region. So South America will have their version, Africa, and when I say Africa, I know it's huge, but all these different African countries, because a lot of people don't realize that Africa is high tech. These people they're just like India. Their number one focus is academy, university. That is their focus. They have to get to a university and learn something. So most people in Africa, people may think that they're third world and that they're uneducated. The majority of people in Africa are highly educated, financial, economic, tech. So they're going to start building their own AI. And I'm going to give you an example. Right now, NVIDIA is expanding in Southeast Asia, right? Thailand is one of the projects on the list. Thailand is getting their own. It's called a sovereign AI, and they're going to be expanding that into Vietnam. They're expanding it into Thailand, Vietnam. What was the other one? Malaysia. So I'm just giving you an example that all of these different countries are going to be able to create their own AI with their data centers. And that is going full circle why I say that NVIDIA is not going to be on the chopping block with everybody else as they're adjusting to the AI. They're the infrastructure. And now they're expanding their infrastructure throughout the world. NVIDIA right now is doing what Uber did 20 years ago. They're going global. So AI is the great equalizer because everybody will have their own version. And then what is the point of this? Let's bring it back to what we were discussing. If every single region and country is creating their own AI, they're programming those AIs with their rules, their laws, their morality, their ethics. So we're not bound by any racial systems. You see what I mean? And now keep in mind, there are different racial systems. There's a racial system in Korea. There's a racial system in China. And when I say racial, I'm not talking about color of your skin. Even within their own culture, there are colorism. All of this stuff is going to be programmed into the data that their system is programming the AI.
Definitely in India with the caste system.
There you go. A lot of the caste system. There's colorism in India. There's major colorism in South America. If you look at it now, and I'm going to prove it to you. And like I said, I know the numbers. The majority of people throughout from Mexico all the way down to Peru, from point to point, there are more dark-skinned people because obviously that is the number one. A lot of people don't realize that the number one destination for chattel slavery was South America. So there are more dark people than light people. But when you watched any news, any of the novellas, they're not on the TV. There is major colorism from Mexico all the way down to the point of South America. So like I said, when they build their AIs, because we remember this last year when I showed you that Meta had to take their AI offline because you can see the instances of the racism and colorism and other things because they're pulling data from the confines of the data that they're getting off of the internet in that region. So I'm not trying to say that it's going to be like this utopia, but but the global minority is not narrating the AI anymore. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because you can't have politics alone. You're going to need to have a tech politic, kind of like what they're doing now. That's why Elon is sitting up there with that big tech on his shirt. They've really changed the game because if you're going to influence tech, they're writing the blueprint and they're catching a lot of these other. Even China's is backpedaling because they don't know how to respond to it. So yeah, I'm glad you're breaking this down.
And I'm gonna echo what you're saying. You have the tech in your hand 24 hours a day. So that's where all this is coming from. They now know that they can influence very subtly, and then they're spoon feeding you little by little, day by day, another brick in the wall to guide you to very slowly herd you in the direction that they want. But when we get all of these different versions, because here's the other thing, like I said, looking into the future, when we get to a point, because DeepSeek changed the game, and I'm explaining why. Because at some point, 5 years from now, we're going to have so many versions of AI that you're going to be able to go to a library. You're going to be able to go to a store of just AI apps and AI software, and you're going to be able to pick which AI you want to use. Once again, removing the global minorities narrative. You're not bound by region anymore. Oh, I would love to look at an AI over in Malaysia. Oh, I would love to look at an AI over in Peru. I would love to look at an AI over in Nigeria. You'll be able to pick that particular AI. And here's the thing about me. I'm going to get 3 or 4 AIs and I'm going to put the same question in all 3 or 4 of them and see what the consensus is.
Coach, that's why they got you off of TikTok, man. Man, now that you say this, it makes sense how they slowly started to push you out of TikTok. Started every time you were saying
My
things.
internet. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
man. They don't want me
explains
on
why
there.
it explains why the crypto heads are no longer around. I kind of miss those guys.
Yeah, man. They just stopped coming. Oh man. Because I had an answer to every single one of their rebuttals. Oh, I can't argue with him. Don't you come in this room. I'm just gonna embarrass you. Don't you come in this room with that bull crap.
I miss those days, man. It was like Roadhouse on the internet, man.
Oh
It was,
yeah, bro.
you guys missed it. It was beautiful.
That was
Oh
some
man,
good
the
popcorn
raw
thing.
the
Yeah,
raw
it was.
coaches. Oh man, is he left them crying. It's
Oh man. And then you had the babies that would report me and get me kicked off for like a week.
Yeah. And I never liked that whole thing that anybody could just complain
Thank
whether
you.
valid or not to get people kicked off. And that
You
I didn't like.
you should need at least 3 people. And it has
Yep.
to be in a certain period of time, like within 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It should be if they see something in my live, 3 people should be able to report it, but one person can come in and say, well, he did this to me.
And
Block.
Yep.
yeah. Coach could freely talk now because usually every like 30 seconds he'd have to get rid of a comment or kick somebody out, man.
Kick
It was,
somebody out.
and then they chime in as well. It's good times, man.
And I'm telling you, I used to warn him, right? Don't do it. Don't you do it. And then about 5 minutes later, I'll come back. Are you still in the room? Silence. I miss the days too. But to be honest, that's actually what I told you guys. I'm waiting patiently because when I start posting these videos, I'm trying to get through all this curriculum, but I already know how to drive my YouTube channel because everything that we talk about, all of this stuff that nobody knows, I got the evidence, I got the receipts. I'm going to start posting these YouTube videos and everybody's going to come into the comments trying to argue with me. And all that's going to do is drive up my traffic. But right now, I got so many things on my plate that I won't be able to monitor the comments. And then when I do get to that place, I want to have people on my team that can monitor the comments. So that's the reason why, if you haven't noticed yet, why I'm not completely on YouTube, because I want to be able to really, use that as a media platform. Now, I'm going to give you something the way that I think, and we're going to end the session here. I have really weird ways of marketing, and I'm going to give you one. And I'm probably going to contact somebody. I want to contact an agent, like an actor agent. Let me give you the best, because you can only do it once. That you can only do this once. But let me tell you how my marketing brain works. I want you to think of somebody. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's take Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is going through some things, right? Let's take Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors was going through something last year, right? Let me show you how to recover. Now, sometimes you can't recover because you're still currently doing things, but let me show you how to instantly recover, and you can market yourself. All you got to do is have your agent call up a bunch of horror films. Go into the industry, go into all the studios, and find at least 10 different horror films that are coming out over the next year. And I think Jonathan Majors would be able to pull this off better, because there's this running joke that black people would just walk away. We're not going in that room. I'm not going in that house. I'm not splitting up in teams. So here is my marketing. Pick 10 different horror films, and the actor is going to appear in a cameo for free. They have to have some level of name recognition. So nobody's going to know that they're in the movie. And at the very beginning of the horror film, Somebody's going to say something. Let's go here. Let's do this. And then let's say Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is going to look at everybody and say, nah, I'm good. And he walks off. He walks out the house. He walks away. And you never see him again. That one person survived at the very beginning because he says, I'm not doing this. Now imagine that he did that in 10 different horror films that year. How much will social media be talking about it? How much will the news be talking about it?
No, it would create some buzz. Yep.
And he did it for free. He got his visual, got people talking up. And remember we said about the distraction? People are more interested in that current thing that happened, that they're not worried about the scandal that they're in. Now, like I said, sometimes it doesn't work because there may be too much scandal or they're still currently kind of in the scandal. But this is how you can get an actor to recover. You've put them in cameos, and then now there's this, and then here's the crazy part. Those movies are by different writers, they're from different studios, but you've kind of created this Easter egg of that all of these movies are now in the same universe by never even mentioning it. So now people are going to the horror films looking for that actor. So like it just creates, everybody wins. But this is how I think when I go through marketing, off the wall. So that's kind of what I'm looking when I'm looking for how I'm going to market my business. I'm looking for those kind of things that's going to bring people in. And like I said, I would love to give that to like an agent because they were to make a lot of money. Go ahead.
I saw an AI app. I'd have to go back and see what it was called. But you know how you have these long, videos and everything, hour and a half, 2 minutes or 2 hours or whatnot. But the video